Now it's time for this week's World Odyssey Mix, courtesy of a BAFTA award-winning artist. He's an Ivor Novello and Anthony Asquith Award nominee who's worked on a whole host of TV, film and theatre scores. His recent venture includes his second series of the hit BBC drama Spooks, Silent Witness and ITV programme The Brief. He's the man behind the music for some of the most popular beer car, airline and shampoo adverts. His musical versatility has stretched to the likes of Snow Patrol, Bele and Sebastian, Simple Minds, Fried and Texas. You'll definitely know him as the producer of Seen from the Outside, a track I've championed on the show over the last few weeks. Paul Leonard Morgan, welcome to Pathaan's musical Rickshaw on the BBC Asian Network.
Thanks for having me, man.
Very nice to hear from you. You've just got back from your honeymoon, I hear.
I have. Just a little bit of sunshine in the Maldives to get away the winter blues.
And have you come back nice and brown and ready for 2008?
Do you know what, man? I'm nice and brown, but I'm heading off to New York on Saturday, where it's supposed to be 0 degrees at the moment, so absolutely dreading it.
Tell us a little bit about your roots in music.
My roots? Well, my mum was a music teacher. She always kind of played various piano, but she always had all jazz tracks on the background and classical tracks. And then I came up to Glasgow to study at the Royal Scottish Academy of Music.
Right.
Started kind of studying film music and stuff like that. Always wanted to kind of write film music. But at the same time, I just always kind of loved, I don't know, it's not one particular style of music. I just like tons and tons of different styles. So after studying at the academy, I started hiring out a studio at this place called Savah, which was the main studio in Glasgow, where I started working just with various producers. A guy called Tony Dugan, who produced people like Mogwai, Delgado's Dirty Pretty Things. And the whole kind of Glasgow scene at that stage, it was people like Snow Patrol, like Belle and Sebastian, say like the Delgados, loads of different bands all hang around the studio together. And various people would need help kind of with string arrangements and stuff for tracks. And they go, oh, there's this guy Paul, he does strings, so I'll get in and do all that. We gradually got to know them. Isabel Campbell, started working with her, and then went from her, and various film people started liking what I was doing with all the bands and stuff, which is kind of how it all came around, really. So I started writing some soundtracks, and then the bands kind of heard me working on the soundtracks. They said, God, that's really cinematic. We could do that kind of sound on some of our albums and stuff. So I just really like a really broad cross-section, you know. The Glasgow music scene at that particular time was a really happening place. It was just before Franz Ferdinand came out with all the Travis stuff as well.
Right.
But everyone just basically, not kind of cliquey, but you just used things. There was a band, the Reindeer Section, Gary from Snow Patrol.
Yeah.
It was the big super group, as it were, kind of all the big stars, all the kind of underground indie bands. So, and similarly with that, you know, it was a case of just people needed a drummer, so they'd call up Richard Colburn, you know, people needed percussionists, they'd call up such and such, just loads of people. It was all the collaborations. And I think that's the really good thing about collaborations, is it's not a clash of the egos, it's a case of just getting people's input to come up with the best products out, you know?
No, I totally hear that. So you won an BAFTA award for Best New Composer in 2000. What did that mean to you? That must have been just like brilliant.
Do you know what? It was brilliant because it was the first soundtrack I'd ever done.
Okay.
I suddenly got this sort of like, yeah, here you go, you won a BAFTA. But
what was that for?
There's an ITV drama called Fallen, but it was a really nice drama. I've been working with the producer at the moment. It's all kind of, it's really weird. The producer of that, he's now producing a thing for BBC Three, which is Jamie, you know, the guy from the Gorillaz and stuff, and Damon Albarn's been doing the soundtrack for that as well and stuff.
Okay.
It's weird kind of all the way all of these things kind of work together. People just go from different jobs to other jobs. It's not so much, oh, I've got an award, because loads of people sort of go, oh, awards, who cares? But it's more just a case of, God, you're being recognised for doing a really good job.
It obviously got you to work with the likes of Craig Armstrong, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Craig had a studio next to me at Savah, which again was how I kind of got to know him a bit, and he would always give me loads of advice. And I remember at the time he phones up and he goes, oh man, you're never going to guess where I am this week. And I was like, oh, where are you? He's like, I'm in Italy with Bono. And he'd just done some soundtrack, I think it's the GoldenEye or something like that.
Excellent.
The Bond thing. And it's the same kind of thing. It's this really random thing of just not disbelief, but you never lose that enthusiasm for it. Whatever project you're next working on, it's like, oh my God, now I'm doing this. Oh my God, now I'm doing that. It's keeping variety in it.
And with variety, when you get massive projects like the US Olympic Committee commissioning you to compose the musical anthem for the Olympic team, which happened to you. How do you go about starting on huge projects like that?
You absolutely yourself. How does it happen? I don't know. You just start going around trying to think about it.
You didn't go to redneck country.
Well, as I say, they flew me out to Colorado in September to go and for September the 11th, to go and do the first performance of it. And it was just me, sitting at the piano doing a solo performance in front of the entire American press. This was kind of launching the new anthem to them. But you know what? By the end of it, totally won over, just really on the side. Because to begin with, it was a bit of a sort of wiser Brits, writing our anthem kind of thing.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, they were all really, really nice, such lovely people, and really on the side. But no, I didn't go there for inspiration. To be inspired, I just kind of walking around Glasgow and stuff,
Okay.
Slightly different.
Cool. And your latest debut album, Filmtales?
Filmtales, yep.
How's that all going since its release?
Well, do you know what? It's been absolutely fantastic. Obviously, I know you've been playing Scene from the Outside, which is wicked, but the thing that I've loved about it, it was always like a pet project. It was always something I wanted to do.
Right.
Never really intended to have a big release or anything else, but just gradually, it was coming towards finishing it, more and more people kept on saying, man, I love that track, or where can I get that track from? Because they'd heard it maybe on a bit of TV or something like that. And I kind of thought, well, sort of, might as well put it out. And the reaction's been great. It's not just one genre of people that have listened to it. There have been classical stations that have kind of reviewed it and played it. There have been sort of, trip hoppy stations. There have been people like who play Uncle and stuff that have played it. It's a really nice cross section, which for me is such a buzz to get emails from people from right across the board. And
so 2008, what does it look like for you?
2008 is getting quite hectic at the moment.
Hectic's
what
good.
date is it? January the what?
Yeah, hectic's good.
No, hectic's good. I think there's probably another series of Spooks which is coming up. That would be good.
Marvellous. I love Spooks.
Do you know what? It's one of those really addictive things. It's one of the few TV programmes which I ever used to watch. When they phoned up and said, do you want to do the soundtrack for it? I was like, yeah, that'd be great.
I'm telling you, in another life, I would definitely want to be a spook. I love it. And for the international listener, Spooks is like a drama about double agents. Okay.
Picture 24, but done in a very, very British way. But it says that I've got a big sort of orchestra project coming up, big soundtracks. That's good.
Okay, so look, what can we expect from your World Odyssey mix today?
Well, I think for my World Odyssey mix, I've just been trying to sort of come up with stuff that I really get. This album, the Verve remixed. One of the tracks for Is You Ain't My Baby, but it's just got such a great beat. It's got stuff like that, a bit of Uncle, which someone actually pointed out, so it's the Richard Ashcroft track, Lonely Soul.
Yeah.
And someone said apparently that was on the Beach soundtrack. Which I've never seen the Beach. They go, oh my God, you outcast, you haven't seen the Beach. But again, it's got those lovely, lovely Uncle drums, but then you've got this fantastic string arrangement, and then you've got Richard Ashcroft's incredibly soulful, emotional voice over the top. So stuff like that. A couple of my tracks sort of mixed in, including Scene from the Outside. Your poor listeners having to hear it again.
Marvellous.
Bit of Massive Attack, and a bit of The All-Seeing Eye. And kind of mixed in, as I say, with a couple of other tracks from Filmtales.
Okay, well, look, thank you very much for coming on and speaking to me on the show.
Dude, thanks so much. It's a total honour, and I'll be spreading the love.
World Odyssey Mix on Pathaan's Musical Rickshaw.
This is Pathaan's Musical Rickshaw on the BBC Asian Network, and that was the World Odyssey Mix with Paul Leonard Morgan. What a lovely mix, and what a lovely man he was, with a profound knowledge of music, composition, and obviously well connected and educated in his art. So over the 20 minutes from the Verve remixed album, we had Is You Ain't or Is You My Baby, Sneaker Pimps with a track called Underground, the Nelly Hooper remix, Uncle there with Richard Ashcroft, Paul Leonard Morgan's even dropped 3 of his own tunes with the infamous on the Musical Rickshaw Scene from the Outside, a track called Wilderness. For full track listings, I suggest you go to my show page, bbc.co.uk/Asian Network/Pathaan's Musical Rickshaw, and see it all there for yourself. And the link on my show page will take you directly to the interview with the mix.